What's up, family? Welcome to Ask to My Ox,
where we challenge you to stop playing and start pushing.
This right here is my baby. My beautiful white Fiona.
And this right here, this is my awesome, fantastic pumpkin. I use that. This is my husband. All right, y'all. Today we are going to talk to you about something that we all could do so much better in. Even though we know better, we don't always do better in this area. That's and particularly when you're in relationships of any kind. This really relates to all relationships, right? Listening. How can you make sure that you are being the best listener you can be? Mm-hmm. You ain't really got it like that. You ain't as tight as you think you are. So chill out for a second, sit back, and listen to these 4 crucial tips.
Yeah, tip number 1, you want to, of course, talk less and listen with your heart, your mind, and your ears a whole lot more. So basically what I'm saying is that 80% of the time when you're in conversation with somebody, that time should be spent listening. Only 20% of the time you should be talking. The person that you're in conversation with, they deserve your attention. So the way you give them your attention is not by talking to them. You give them your attention by listening to them. So that's tip number 1.
Number 2, have you ever been in a conversation with someone and you're telling them about something and out of the blue they just change the subject? They just move on like, oh, yeah, okay. Girl, what the other day? Wait a minute, I thought we were talking about this. Don't change the subject too quickly. Don't do that because that lets the other person know that you're not listening. Number two to my number 2 is...
Number 2A?
Yeah, no, 2B.
Oh, okay.
2, we a little special, y'all. Anyway, my second point to the second point is this. Don't inject your own experiences or like, oh yeah, that happened to me when, or yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about because, I deal with that all the time. Or, we ain't talking about you. They don't want you to do that. You might want to give that a little bit later, but when that person is speaking again, 80% of the time, like my husband said, they're speaking. You're not. So you can't be changing the subject and you can't be bringing in your own experience and what you got and what you know. Be quiet. Be quiet.
Yeah, because in that they feel like you're devaluing their experience. So you want to make sure that you're giving them the platform.
Right.
You're giving them the stage.
And it's a habit, y'all. That thing can happen as a habit. I sometimes have to hold back. Because I think of something like, oh, and then I'll go, okay, I have to hold back because it's a habit. So work on that.
Point number 3, you want to demonstrate that you're actively engaged in the conversation by asking questions to further the conversation. So it's one thing to be in the midst of a conversation and, just shaking your head, nodding, or just going, which I often do. But you want to...
Men are known for this one, y'all. Yeah, men are known for this. Let's just give an example real quick. You know, honey, the other day, I was at the grocery store, and this woman, she just going to cut in front of me, not say anything. And then I asked her, I said, did you see I was here in line? And she going to say, yeah, and what? Can you believe that?
For real?
Yes.
That's what you don't want to do. You don't want to just be like, for real, and then move on to the next thing.
Rewind. Let's do that again. Oh, can you believe this other day I was in the grocery store, and this lady going to just cut in front of me in the line, and then I said, like, excuse me, did you see me here? And she was like, yeah, and what?
I really can't believe that. What was she... She was all up, just in your space, just...
No, she wasn't in my space, but she, like, literally turned around and said, yeah, and what? What am I supposed to do? I'm really about to just steal her.
If I was there, I would have stolen for you. I would have.
All right, did you check that out? There was a little bit more interaction going on, right? Because he asked me a question. He said what he would have done, right? That was a little jokey joke. But that was actually engaging.
And I was also looking at my wife while I was talking to her. So I wasn't doing something else. I was actively engaged in the conversation, asking questions, talking to her. And as a result, she felt like I was, being a good listener.
There you go. Number 4, last but not least. Anytime you're talking to someone, if you want them to really know that you are paying attention, act like it. I know this may seem like a simple one, but when somebody is speaking, pretend that they have a sign around them that's hanging right here, and it says, make me feel important. Make me feel important. Because if you are really attempting to make somebody feel important, then you'll be mindful about your interaction. You won't look at the watch. You won't interrupt. You won't do all the things that we're talking about. You won't insert other stuff into the conversation. You're just present with them in that space, in that moment, absorbing what they have to say. So when you're talking to people, almost pretend it's like a little test, you know? How can I be the most engaged? How can I show them that I am totally absorbed? When you do that with your woman, men, let me tell you something. That is called foreplay. Trust me on that. If you don't believe it, just try it. This brother has been very successful time and time again. Mm-hmm. Haven't you? He has. So we hope that this has been of help to you. I want you to stop touching my butt. Okay, sorry. We love y'all. We hope that you use these tips in your relationships. They apply to everything. Get better. When you know better, you gotta do better. But in order to do better, you gotta stop playing and start pushing.